Anthropic just checked off a bunch of the things that we would not want them to do. Tiered access, modifying inputs, and steering responses. They talk about reckless or destructive agent actions, claimed verification that didn't happen, authorizing commits as a user, using another person's token, third-party contact leaking. This thing is deceptive, and they know it, and we've already let this genie out of the bottle. Anthropic just released Fable 5, and the internet is pissed. Dude, there's a lot to talk about here. And I know it might sound a little strange because we did the same thing for the most part that we always do with new models. A lot of early content on this was talking about how great this model is, except when you read the system card, there's some huge, terrifying problems going on with Anthropic. If the model thought your prompt doesn't meet their quote-unquote guidelines, their real-world on-launch answer to that was to steer the model without telling you. They'll change your prompt, they'll adjust the thinking so it can give you intentionally bad answers while still being posed as like helpful. Okay, they've recently walked that back, but only the not telling you part. Believe it or not, that's only one of many problems with this launch, right? Not just with the model, but with Anthropic ethically. So that's what we're gonna get into today, because the level of hypocrisy here is honestly mind-blowing. I started planning this video when Mythos came out, and what I really wanted to talk about was, even if this is the best model we've ever seen, it's not enough to convince me to trade to Claude's environment. But the more I read, just the worse it got. The timeline here is wild, and just to get you caught up, because this definitely informs the rest of the video, June 4th, Anthropic and Dario pushed a proposal to, you know, quote unquote everybody, say, hey, we really need to assess frontier AI development. Like, we've noticed a path to recursive self-improvement, which means AI building AI models. So they're like, we need to really assess how this is gonna go moving forward. And then you're just like, wait, hold on. Isn't that how you train the Mythos model? And that's why you wanted to keep it from the public? Isn't that how you train your models? And then 5 days later, they release one of those models. So to be clear, they released an essay saying we all need to be careful on how we're training frontier AI models. And then 5 days later, they released a model trained the exact way they were warning against. I mean, like, that's a problem, right? Like, obviously, like, you can't have it both ways like that. And then you look into the model itself and it just gets so much worse. So let's just look at layer one. Like, if you're just using this, what does it actually look like? Okay. And the output is inarguably fantastic. However, it does not solve Anthropic's historic issues with rate limiting and cost. Pricing for Fable 5 is aggressive, to say the least. It's twice as much as Opus 4.8, and long-term, it won't be covered by your subscription. They're only giving you like a taster for the first 2 weeks, but even still, people are having a hard time even testing this because it uses so many more tokens than any other model to date. Like Josh was saying, he can't even review this since your testing is so limited. Or like Yahoo Tech, when they were testing Fable for review, they burned their entire daily quota in one prompt. The CEO of Scrimba, Per Borgren, he was saying he tested Fable, it burned 1.3 million tokens in 7 minutes, which is the equivalent of about $160 an hour, which is what you should expect to pay because there's only 2 weeks worth of subscription coverage with this Fable model. I think it's kind of funny though, actually, like all these people hyping Fable with their subscription, they're like, man, I built this crazy thing in one prompt. I'm like, well, fucking good, because that's all you get this week. For perspective here, Fable's base system prompt is 120,000 tokens long. This model is already like extremely expensive, prohibitively expensive for a lot of us, but I mean, what do you get for that? And if you look into this, if you look under the hood, this is where people started to get really pissed, because what you actually got on launch for the most expensive publicly available model in history was potentially not that model. If you look at the system card under novel safeguards, what it says, if you're working on something related to cybersecurity, biology, chemistry, or distillation attempts, it's going to fall back to Opus 4.8 and just bypass Fable entirely. But even more egregious, if they find that you're working on AI research, machine learning, or any sort of like model training, what they do is they limit effectiveness on purpose. They nerf the model by either adjusting the prompt or steering towards less correct answers. So researchers legitimately were paying Fable prices for intentionally less correct answers, and there was no way to know about it on launch. Their justification here is honestly like mind-blowing. They're like, don't worry about it. It only affects 0.03% of traffic, so, you know, nothing to worry about, no sweat. They have since walked this back, but it just goes to show that it had nothing at all to do with safety and everything to do with preventing competitor advancement. Honestly insane. Like, oh, we're the only ones that get to use AI to train new models. So now at least the state of affairs is that if the model flags you talking about any of these topics, they'll at least let you know that you're talking to Opus, but that flagging is a problem in itself. Like this fella Duria, for example, he's a biomedical scientist. He's not able to talk to Fable because of his profession, because his chat history contains biomedical conversations. He can't even say hello to the new model without it being bounced over to Opus 4.8. And his comments are honestly hilarious. Like this fella, Sebastian, just wrote cancer, and it's like, Claude cannot finish the response. Like the flagging is out of control. The other fun new trick that Mythos class models learned is mandatory data retention. And I quote, prompts submitted to and output generated by Mythos class models are retained for 30 days for trust and safety purposes on every platform these models are offered. You're gonna hear trust and safety a lot, and I can't help but wince at that because it doesn't seem genuine. But obviously data retention is a huge issue for, enterprise or organizations that have a zero data retention policy. There are a lot in Europe. Like this person just pointed out here, Anthropic just delegated a lot of European companies to the permanent underclass because of their zero data retention policy. And honestly, the reason I'm bringing up this particular tweet is because of the underclass comment, because it leads me to what I was thinking Anthropic was already doing in the first place, which is like a tiered intelligence, right? Like we're talking a lot about Fable, which is the restricted version of Mythos, which is only available to those like vetted partners in Project Glasswing. The problem I have with this is Anthropic gets to dictate who has access to the actual frontier intelligence, and then there's the rest of us who are restricted. It's a super dangerous precedent. Okay, and I understand the argument against would be if this model can do everything that they say it can do, then of course it needs to be controlled. Being contained and controlled by a company that has proven to be unethical. So let's call it what it is. There's two tiers. You're either in or you are not. There's the model that they train to do the job, and then there's the one with training wheels that the rest of us get to use. So I mean, most of YouTube is talking about how great this model is and all these insane things that it can do, and yeah, sure, but Anthropic just set a bunch of very dangerous precedents. Like they've opened Pandora's box, man, and like a couple years ago, if you were talking about ethical AI, they just checked off a bunch of the things that we would not want them to do. Tiered access, modifying inputs, and steering responses. Honestly, this last part is the worst, where they are actively proposing everyone else slow down on frontier AI advancement when they're the ones most aggressively pushing this forward, especially when it comes to recursive self-improvement. They're the ones putting out those models. Meanwhile, hamstringing everyone else from using their models to do any AI research whatsoever. I didn't even touch on everything. The rest of the system card doesn't calm me down. They talk about reckless or destructive agent actions, claimed verification that didn't happen, authorizing commits as a user, using another person's token, third-party contact leaking, and evaluation awareness that isn't articulated. This thing is deceptive, and they know it, and we've already let this genie out of the bottle. Bottom line, and what I'm seeing here is this is very clearly an attempted concentration of power and resources. And I can't remember where I saw this quote, but I completely agree with it, is the CEO here represents the absolute worst type of dystopia. But I mean, it makes cool websites. Fuck. Fucking see you in the next one.